I also wanted to provide a quick update for you on our work in Haiti. The United States remains engaged and in close consultations with our Haitian and international partners to support the Haitian people in the aftermath of the assassination of the president. In response to the Haitian government's request for security and investigative assistance, we will be sending senior FBI and DHS officials to Port-au-Prince as soon as possible to assess the situation and how we may be able to assist. I also wanted to note that in January 2021, we announced a $75.5 million for a wide range of issues, including democratic governance, health, education, agricultural development, and strengthening of pre-election activities. Strengthening Haiti's law enforcement capacity is a key U.S. priority, was before the assassination a few days ago, continues to be. And the U.S. Department of State's Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs provides assistance directly to the Haitian National Police. We are also providing $5 million to strengthen the Haitian National Police capacity to work with communities to resist gangs. I also wanted to remind you all that earlier this year, the Department of Homeland Security redesignated temporary protected status for Haiti for 18 months, something the Secretary announced in May and something we are working to implement. And finally, Haiti is one of the countries that will be receiving vaccines from the United States. We will be prepared to deliver those, hopefully as early as next week. Part of that is assessing what can happen with the airport and how we will be able to deliver these. Yes.
Question on Haiti.
Nothing crazy is happening. The pool has to gather. Go ahead.
Question on Haiti. How will the arrest of 2 Americans affect the assistance that the FBI and DHS provides to Haitian authorities?
Our assistance is to help the people of Haiti and to help them get through what is a very challenging time and has long been even before the assassination of the president. So the investigation is not going to impact the assistance we're providing to the people of Haiti. But as I announced at the beginning, we are sending, because supporting law enforcement efforts on the ground and making sure we are providing resources in terms of women and manpower, but also financial resources is part of what our objective is as well.
And how many law enforcement agents are we sending, and have there been any requests for any additional aid from the U.S., either from the State Department or another agency?
Well, this action was in response to a specific request, so that's what it exactly was. I don't have a specific number. I can check and see if there's something more specific we can provide to you. Go ahead, Eugene.
Is the Biden administration considering easing travel restrictions to allow vaccinated people into the U.S.? The CDC has already said that it's safe to travel. I've done it. A lot of us have done it. If you're fully vaccinated.
There's an ongoing process, which I know is to the frustration of many, which includes working groups with countries so that we can communicate about and share information about what the criteria will be for easing these travel restrictions. We certainly want to ensure families are reunited, people can travel as you have, as you said, but I don't have anything to predict in terms of the timeline there.
The question is, if the conditions are the same, they're otherwise the same, why does the destination matter?
They look at a range of criteria, but it's based on public health discussions. Public health experts are a part of these discussions on all sides, from our country and from the others who are participating.
And last question. In May, the administration came out in support of the TRIPS waiver, which would make vaccines more available around the world by waiving the IP protections. Angela Merkel will be here next Thursday. Germany is against the TRIPS waiver, and I think it has to be unanimous. Is that on the agenda for President Biden to talk to her about that?
He is a strong proponent of it. It's one tool in our toolbox. There are a number of others, including increasing manufacturing. Obviously, we've already made an announcement about the number of doses, 500 million we're sharing around the world, and we've already started implementing them. I know it sounds like there's a lot of interest in what will be on the agenda. Let me see if there's more about the agenda for the meeting with the German Chancellor to predict. Let me go all the way to go ahead in the middle. Go in the middle.
Thanks, Jen. Just 2 quick questions. First, on voting rights, is the speech next week in Pennsylvania, is it like a one-off speech, or is the president going to sort of consistently start to deliver speeches and have events publicly on this issue?
Well, he just had a meeting with civil rights leaders yesterday, and we provided a readout of that. So I can't predict for you what the schedule will look like beyond next Tuesday, but this is an opportunity to go to the birthplace of democracy to make the case for the moral imperative of making voting more accessible to people across the country.
Just quickly, it's been several months since Neera Tanden was withdrawn as the nominee to lead OMB. Is there an update on the timeline for when the president might nominate a full-time nominee to lead that department?
There, I do not have a timeline update for you. Go ahead.
Thanks, Jen. As you probably have noticed, gas prices are up considerably right now all across the U.S. The average price of gasoline is $3.14. In fact, gas prices are up 40% since the very beginning of the year. What is your message to motorists out there in the country that are concerned about how much it costs to get to work every day, how it's really impacting their family budgets?
Well, first I would say that gas prices do historically rise in the summer. And that's particularly true even in moments like this where there's a spike in people traveling and even more people are hitting the road now because of our success in defeating the pandemic. So in the last 10 years pre-pandemic, for example, the average price of gas in July is nearly 30 cents higher than it is in January. And any prices are higher now than they were last year because Americans are finally able to travel. I just thought that context was important. As it relates, but the president is quite focused on ensuring that we are doing everything we can to keep prices low or to keep the cost of living low for the American people, including the cost of gas. That's why he was vehemently against a gas tax, why he was against a vehicle mileage tax. We are not a party of OPEC, as you know. We are engaged with a number of countries in part because we want to ensure that we are remaining abreast of what is happening in those discussions as well, because that will have an impact. But his direct message to the American people is that he is going to work, just as he worked to get the virus under control, he's going to create jobs. He's going to work to ensure we are doing everything we can to keep the gas price low.
Would releasing oil from the SPR have any impact? Is that a consideration of the administration?
I don't have anything to predict on that front. Sure, go ahead.
Thanks, Jen. As a candidate, President Biden said, and I'm quoting, quote, I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings, but recently photographs and documents have called that into question. In 2015, President Biden, as vice president, met at Cafe Milano with his son's Ukrainian, Russian, and Kazakhstani business associates one day before a Burisma executive thanked the first son for the opportunity to meet his father. And also in 2015, as vice president, the president hosted at the Naval Observatory Mexican business associates of Hunter Biden before Hunter Biden emailed these associates from Air Force 2 the next year going to Mexico. So I have kind of a two-part question. Was President Biden indeed unaware that his son was pursuing business opportunities for these people he met? And also, according to recent reporting, the first son still has a stake in a Chinese investment company. When is he going to unload that?
On the last part, he's working to unload that. I'd point you to his representatives. The president does not discuss business dealings with family members, and otherwise I'm not going to respond to Rudy Giuliani's lawyer. Go ahead in the back. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thanks, Jen. I wanted to ask you about the executive order that the president's going to sign on competition. Most of that executive order to me looks like it would be done through regulation at the agencies.
Yeah.
And he's directing a whole bunch of different rulemaking. Can you talk about, so the office inside OMB that handles regulation still has no director or administrator, I believe is the title. Can you talk about how the coordination is going to go to get this all out the door and make sure that it's, cross the T's, dot the I's without someone in that job that would traditionally do that?
Sure. Well, first I would say that OMB is one of the agencies in the federal government that is also staffed by talented men and women from the career service, and they can help make sure we are continuing to function and implement government actions, and that continues to be the case in this regard. As you noted, the order includes several actions that agencies would take, which those actions would be implemented within agencies. Even independent agencies, of course, will make their own decisions. So this order is encouraging independent agencies to take certain actions even as they make those decisions. But the federal government is designed in a way so that we can function from administration to administration, even as individuals need to be nominated and confirmed, and that is certainly the case in this.